So we're joined by Ian Paddison, National Chair of Socialist Students and member of Youth Fight for Jobs here at Sussex University in Brighton. Over the course of the past year, there have been mass movements of young people and students in Britain, but it's been right the way across the world as well. Can you explain a little bit about those movements?
Well, at the moment, young and working class people are being forced to pay for an economic crisis caused by big business, bankers and the rich. The attacks that already started under different governments, but particularly under Blair and Brown, have been ramped up under the condemned government. Against these attacks, in defence of a right to our education, we've seen the mass student protests in Britain at the end of 2010. But across the world, we've seen young and working class people fighting back, the most prominent of which we've seen the revolutions in Egypt and Tunisia, showing that young and working class people can topple brutal capitalist dictators. Now, it's fantastic that the mass movements have overthrown tyrants like Ben Ali and Mubarak, but we need a second revolution in these countries, not just to get rid of the leaders, but get rid of the whole capitalist elite and their friends in big business and the government. But where there's a lot of anger among young people over all these issues, but underlying this is the massive youth unemployment, the fact that capitalism can't even provide the most basic jobs, the most basic standard of living for young working class people around the world. In Spain, where youth unemployment is 51%, we've seen the movement of the Spanish indignados, 2 million people on the streets of Spain. It was said on election night in Spain, power wasn't in the ballot box, but it was with the young people in the square occupations. In Greece, where youth unemployment is 43%, we've seen the movement of the Greek enraged when linked to the 48-hour general strike. 2 million people on the streets of Greece. But across Europe, in Portugal, in Italy, in Ireland, in every country, young and working class people have been fighting back against EU austerity. One of the biggest mass movements we saw in 2011 was a 7-month struggle of the students in Chile. 1 million people involved in that mass movement out of a population of 16 million, demanding the right to a decent, free education. That movement was linked for the need for a new society, to system change. The students raised nationalisation of the copper industry, made links with working class people, calling for workers' control and management as a solution to the crisis of capitalism, but also to provide them with decent education. And most prominently, we've seen the Occupy movement throwing up the slogan of we are the 99%, showing that this is a society run in the interests of those at the top, run in the interests of the 1%. This is a them and us society. Occupy, the 2,000 tent cities around the world, has raised questions, opened up discussion about the need for a new society. And it's absolutely clear that capitalism has failed us, but capitalism is still a relatively strong system. We need an organisation that's going to get rid of the current system and create a new one. In Britain, the bosses have 3 political parties: New Labour, Liberals and the Tories, all united on the cuts, all united and making young and working class people pay for the crisis. If the bosses have 3 political parties, why don't workers and young people have one of our own? A party like that could call for real solutions to the economic crisis, nationalising the big banks and businesses that dominate the economy, but not nationalisation like Gordon Brown did, where all he like with Northern Rock and other big banks at the beginning of the recession. Where all you did was replace the banker with a government bureaucrat. Genuine nationalisation under democratic workers' control, so we could use the vast wealth that exists in the banks and is hoarded by big business to provide decent public services and create jobs for ordinary people. But more than that, we need an absolute break with capitalism. We need a new mass workers' party to put forward a revolutionary programme, a socialist programme, so we can transform society, plan production in the interests of the 99%, not to create profits for those at the top of society.
Right, thanks Ian. If you want more information, click on the link below.